Biden comes in, same COVID, no difference, except it was a little bit better with the economy wasn't shut down. And now we're running about 10% if you add in the food and all the other things to the inflation rate. You go from 1.4 to 10 in 16 months. So that's a stunning defeat for anybody.
And now to our top story. You'd have to have been sleeping a few months not to notice our economy going from boom to nearly bust. It's not a flat-out recession. But given the dense mix of troubling factors, it's a wobbly mess right now. Inflation is the top problem, fueled by government spending. Recognizing the depths of the weakness, President Biden finally came before the press today to offer his ideas on what's causing it and how to fix it. But he cited some reasoning that many people believe not to be true, that driving the mess is the war with Ukraine and COVID. We have two guests tonight who can help us figure out what's true and what's not. Bill O'Reilly, for one, and Mark Lauder, who was, among other things, Press Secretary to Vice President Mike Pence. Let's begin, though, with my former colleague at Fox, Bill O'Reilly. Welcome to Centerpoint, Bill.
Thanks for having me, Doug. Glad you're doing well.
Have you ever seen as partisan a speech about the economy as President Biden delivered today?
Well, I have been saying on my news agency, BillO'Reilly.com, and on the radio that Mr. Biden is the third most incompetent president in the history of our country, after James Buchanan, who led us into the Civil War, and Herbert Hoover, who couldn't handle the Depression. So Mr. Biden gets up there, and I knew what he was going to do before he even started speaking. He was going to give excuses why inflation is running about 10%. Now, remember, this is the key. When Trump left office, inflation was 1.4%. Trump had to deal with COVID and a complete shutdown of the economy in America, okay? Yet, the inflation rate was 1.4. Biden comes in, same COVID, no difference, except it was a little bit better with the economy wasn't shut down. And now we're running about 10% if you add in the food and all the other things to the inflation rate. You go from 1.4 to 10 in 16 months. So that's a stunning defeat for anybody. What does Biden do? He gets up in front of the country and he says, it's Putin's fault and it's COVID. And the corrupt corporate media, instead of just hooting him off the stage, doesn't do much. Not much reaction to it. And I'm saying, is this just all propaganda all the time now? And I'm not coming at this from any kind of a party or ideology. I'm a fact-based guy. And what the president is telling the American people is false.
Well, it seems to me that that bias has increased by an order of magnitude since you were doing the O'Reilly factor, for example. It's flat out open right now.
Well, to the media, the goal isn't to inform the American people about why their wages are shrinking and why their stocks and their 401ks are going down. Media doesn't see that as their obligation anymore. The media sees their obligation as protecting the guy they supported so that Donald Trump wouldn't be president. That's basically it. The Biden people know that. They know they're not going to be scrutinized by the White House press corps or the network news. Cable's a different animal. But the network news and the White House press corps, they're going to go along with whatever Biden says. Yeah, there might be a few questions here and there, but Biden's not going to be roundly mocked in the New York Times or the Washington Post for putting out this crazy, insane scenario that Putin caused all these gas price rise. Before Putin invaded Ukraine, Doug, gas had gone from Trump's last week in office, $2.93 a gallon, up to $3.76 a gallon before Putin did anything. Yet those stats that I'm citing, you're not going to see them in the corporate media.
Back to that speech a little bit more now. The reference to ultra MAGA and Rick Scott. Rick Scott, whom he mislabeled as a governor from Wisconsin, in fact, he's a senator from Wisconsin. He's, in fact, the senator from Florida. His taxation plan has not been endorsed by many Republicans at all, least of all by Mitch McConnell, whom would have to agree with it if it were ever to see the light of day in the Senate.
But that's what propaganda is. Yeah. So the Biden administration understands that it's on the edge of the abyss. Every poll says that. So they can't say they're succeeding. They can't say they're doing well in any area. I asked my viewers on radio and television, give me one thing in 16 months since Joe Biden's been president that has improved in the United States. Just one thing. I can't get it. I don't know whether you have it, Doug. If you do, wise me up. I'm just looking for one thing. So the Biden people understand where they are. Now, Joe Biden doesn't understand it. He's diminished, and he lives in a world of his own. But certainly Ron Klain, the chief of staff, Susan Rice, Schumer, they know. But they don't have anything to go to other than propaganda. Mm-hmm. That's all they have.
Well, judging from the sagging poll numbers,
that's where they are.
Yeah, the sagging poll numbers seem to indicate that he's trying to appease the one remaining faction of his constituency, which is the far left progressives and their agenda. That's the only thing I can come up with, but I don't know if you have anything else.
But it's not going to. They're going to get waxed in November.
Yeah.
Okay, and once the both houses go to the Republicans, and by the way, the Republicans are no geniuses, Doug. I mean, we're not seeing a magic wand out of the GOP solving a lot of problems. Okay, so I caution people and say, all right, but Trump governed pretty well. If you look at the economy in those 4 years, everyone in the country prospered. The working man's wages rose, inflation was under control, and there were many opportunities even after COVID hit. And if COVID had not come in, I believe Trump would have been reelected.